Hey folks, sorry, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another review. I'll be on my review slash epic rant on Venom 2018 starring Tom Hardy. Yeah, I hated that film. But anyway, guys, remember, stick with the Levi McNally 983, the mass profile picture. Stick with this channel. Again, thank you guys for the 242 subs. Keep on subscribing and watching and your comments. I appreciate it. And what I've been doing, guys, if you've been following my YouTube channel, this is my new channel. My other channel was the Batman Master of the Phantasm profile picture. You can watch videos on that channel, but don't subscribe to that one. Stay subbed to this one. And anyway, getting into it, what I've been doing is a superhero marathon on this channel. I've been doing what I call the 2010s era of superhero reviews. These are superhero movies that came out 2010 decades, 2010 to 2019. And right now I'm on the year 2018. I've only got two more movies to go. This movie and then one more. And this is another Marvel movie. This is an animated film. It is a Spider-Man film, but it is not one of Tom Holland's or Tobey Maguire's, of course, or Andrew Garfield's. No, this is the first animated film in the Spider-Man franchise and the movie franchise. Now we have animated cartoons before, like Spider-Man the '90s anime series, Spectacular Spider-Man, yeah. But this is the first theatrical release Spider-Man animated film, feature-length film, and it is the first film in the Spider-Verse franchise that came out in 2018, and it's directed by three people, which I'll say later, but starring a pretty good voice cast. And this movie really surprised me. I really was excited to see this movie, and it lived up to the expectations. And I saw the sequel. I watched the sequel yesterday. The sequel was really good. It was a bit long, but it was really good. I really enjoyed the sequel, and I can't wait for the third movie, which I think comes out in 2027. And I'm talking about, of course, Spider-Man. I all have my Spider-Man shirt. That was probably to wear for this review. So, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man, just Into the Spider-Verse. You can see by the title. Really enjoyed this movie. Let me take a slipcover off. This is on 4K Blu-ray that I got it on. I don't have 4K, but I do have Blu-ray. Yeah. This disc is the 4K you can watch it on, or the Blu-ray. And I really enjoy this movie. You do get alternative universe mode, discover alternative scenes, attributed to Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, the Ultimate Comics cast, the Spider-Verse. I think because Stan Lee passed away around this time. I think Stan passed away around in December. So yeah, that felt not too long ago. But Stan Lee does have a little cameo in here as well, of course. Probably his last one, technically. Well, no, it was not. It was not just this. Probably was Avengers Endgame as well. But anyway, this was really good. I really love this movie. This really surprised the heck out of me. I was excited for it when it came out, and it really, it was interesting. It was definitely a Spider-Man movie that we needed after that shitty Venom movie. Yeah, it was a film that was definitely needed at the time, and it came at no better time than another than in came out in December. So let's get into the production of the movie, how the film got to be made. Here you have the three directors of the film. Since this is a CGI animation film, there are a lot of parts of the movie they have to work out. So that's why these three have to direct it of a sequence of a movie one by one. Following the November 2014 hacking of Sony's computers, emails between Sony Pictures Entertainment and co-chairman Amy Pichel and President Doug Berlin were released, saying that there was planning to rejuvenate the Spider-Man franchise by developing an animated comedy film with Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. During her time as Sony's co-chairman, Pichel approached Lord and Miller about making an animated Spider-Man movie, to which Lord and Miller agreed, the condition that they did. I do remember 2014 Spider-Man verse. Yeah, that was the same year Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. Comic book storyline and stars Miles Morales as the protagonist. Sony executives, yep, and that is Miles Morales and his Spider-Man. So he's a different kind of Spider-Man. Has the same abilities as Peter. So Sony executives were said to talk about the departure further in the discussion regarding several Spider-Man spin-off films to event in 2015. At the 2015 CinemaCon in April, Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman, announced that the animated Spider-Man film had a release of July 20, 2018 release date and would be produced by Lord Miller. Maybe I've already asked and Matt told us the same people who made Venom, but don't worry. I think the directors here and Sony does not heavyweight into this, get into much into this movie. And Pichel with Lord Miller also writing a treatment for the film. Rothman said that they would coexist with live-action Spider-Man films. So Sony soon stated that the film would exist independently of the project in live-action Spider-Man universe, as it's said in the Eternal universe from those films, with the other version of Spider-Man or the one seen in the MCU, that is Tom Holland. In December 2015, Sony moved the film's release date to December 21st, 2018. Bob Berlitzky was chosen to direct the film, following engagement with Sony about a failed film based on Playmobil toys. By June 2016, Lord had written a full script. Sorry for moving so much. Miller said that the film would feel different from previous Spider-Man films and would stand on its own as a unique film-going experience. There's also rumored to focus on the Miles Morales version of Spider-Man, which Sony confirmed in a presentation for its upcoming animated films in January 2017. Peter Ramsey had joined the film as co-director at the end of 2016. After frequently working alongside Podesky, I can't say the name right. In February 2017, Alex Hirsch was named as a story contributor. Christina Steinberg replaced Tomlich as a producer. She previously collaborated with Ramsey on Rise of the Guardians at Dreams Animation. In April, the release date was pushed out 1 week to December 14th. Simmer said that the multiple men would appear in the film, but then Rodney Rothman, who's co-written the screenplay for Lord and Miller's 22 Jump Street, was added as co-director. Rothman was tearfully added as a writer on the script. Film duties, Lord was unable to do so due to commitments on solo Star Wars story and other projects. As production progressed, he wished the director, as he was the only co-writer of Lord, would fully endorse, and sent the typical writers be involved in the process with directors. For the writing, the script is credited to Lord and Rothman from a story by Lord, making it the first film Lord had written without Miller. As 6 Spider-Man films have been made already, he seemed to agree that they first needed to decide was one to be made. The answer was to tell the story of Miles Morales, who yet had to appear in the film. Brian Michael Bendis, co-creator Miles Morales, consulted on the film adaptation. The first full cut of animatronics and storyboards for the film was over 2 hours long, which is uncommon for animated films. The directors, mostly Lord Miller, said their approach of adding as many elements, I'm sorry if I can talk, long day, to the film as they could do at an outset, with the intention of seeing it could handle, and then shaping the film with there. They said that the runtime would be 90 or 120 minutes long. It's generally through an animated film. The edge of that balance would have to be found between the expectations of an animated film that will have a large audience of children, requirements of the story. The writers felt that the plot was similar to the live-action Spider-Man films, especially due to the large number of characters in the film. 1 year prior to its release, Lord and Rothman wanted to rewrite the story as they had to figure out how to reshape sequences we had already boarded and animated for the mail stuff. Just that they had finally rewritten the third act. The film was originally set to feature a romance between Miles and Spider-Gwen, while the idea was scrapped. The film was still featured prominently in the film, mostly due to the producers of Christina Steinberg. The directors had considered what the potential post-credit scene for the film could be. The audiences have some to expect them from Marvel films. At some point, the writers wished to include a post-credit scene with cameos for 3 live-action Spider-Mans, that is Tobey, Andrew, and Tom Holland, but it was canceled as Sony felt this moment at the time would cause confusion too be risky. Holland recalled the scene was intended to include him as a train station, as a passenger at a train station, saying, "Hey kid," to Miles, and the original subplot. Miles was going to become Spider-Man from learning an audio commentary featuring James Cameron, Tom Cruise. For casting, Shamik Moore was cast as Miles Morales. Lee Schreiber was cast as the film's villain. That was, I believe, Kingpin. And Jefferson, Brian Tyree Henry and Michelle Ellie. That December, Lord and Miller said that the adult Peter Parker in the film had to be a mentor. McGuire, who plays Spider-Man, was just considered to be cast as the version of Spider-Man, but the idea was dropped. So not to confuse the audience with the concept of the Spider-Verse. So it's Jake Johnson, who honestly, I swear he sounds like Joan Cusack to me a little bit. So also announced that Kingpin, Green Goblin, Prowler would also appear as the villains, based on the Ultimate Marvel comic series. Catherine Hahn was cast as a female version of Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, Olivia Octavius. Haley Steinfeld, love Haley Steinfeld, as Spider-Gwen. Blake Thompson as Porky's Aunt May. For the music, Daniel Pembert was announced as the film's composer. The film does have some nice songs, some rap songs in it that are nice to listen to. The film's animation was handled by Sony Pictures Imagineworks in Vancouver, handling all of Sony Pictures Animation prior films as visual effects for the Spider-Man films. By the way, never mind. I'm going off the rails here. I'm sorry. The CGI animation for the film was combined with line work, painting, dots, and all sorts of comic book techniques to make it look like it was created by hand. It's like a comic book come to life, with this movie. They worked on top of them in 2D with the goal of making every frame of the film look like a comic book panel, which was fine. You know, to make the film more like a comic book, it was animated with motion blur. Instead of using no technique of 2D animation, as seen in the 1942 Looney Tunes shorts The Dover Boys. But for the marketing of the movie, you had a 30-second reel from the film. If you remember the ending of Venom, you saw the post-credit scene. They show a little scene of Miles getting the real Peter from a grave, another Peter from another universe, web swinging with him, getting away from running away from the cops, which is funny. I think I remember seeing that. And of course, they had trailer one, trailer two, and the trailers kept on getting better and stuff. And I do think for the marketing though, uh, McDonald's gave uh, McDonald's gave out toys, had toys for the movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A little bit of toys from the characters from McDonald's. Yeah, some toys from the movies from McDonald's. I remember that. Yeah, but we got the marketing with, the trailer or posters of Miles flying upside down in his black suit, which is pretty cool. You know, with a dark red on it as the middle of the chest, which was cool. It premiered at the Regency Village Theater in Los Angeles on December 1st, 2018, and then released worldwide in December 2014. I think critics liked the movie. So one critic said it was the best Spider-Man film since Spider-Man 2. I probably agree with that, but I actually think the sequel is. That's just me. Yeah. Tom Holland, who plays Peter Parker as Spider-Man in the Marvelverse, I mean MCU. I'm sorry, Marvel Cinematic Universe, said it's one of the coolest films he has ever seen. He says it's the best Spider-Man movie that's ever been made. Well, I disagree with that, Tom. I say it's Spider-Man 2. Chris Pratt liked it. Patton Oswalt even did. Yeah. And due to the film's hit, at the box office, you did get sequels with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse that came out in 2023. And then the third film is going to be scheduled to be Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which I can't wait for. 2027. We got almost, 2 more years to wait for that? Well, it's only just 1 more year, but I can be patient. Possible television series. Yeah. But anyway, for the voice cast of the movie, this is your good voice cast for the film. Shamik Moore, Jake Johnson, and the beautiful Haley Steinfeld. Shamika Moore as Miles Morales Spider-Man, intelligent teenager of African American and Puerto Rican descent who is emanated with spider-like abilities after being bitten by radioactive spider and his of the mantle of Spider-Man. Shamika Moore, let's see. He, by the way, does a great job. He was in Joyful Knows. Dope. This movie Let Us Know. And of course, he's going to voice Miles again. And he did voice Miles in the sequel Cross the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse will be voicing him once again. Jake Johnson is Peter B. Parker, Spider-Man. Miles' mentor. It is all Jade and brown hair 38-year-old counterpart of the hero from another dimension. Let's see, Jake Johnson. Bunny Whip Ceremony. I'm just saying, Very Hero and Killmore Christmas. He was in that. 21 Jump Street, the first one. Jurassic World. The Mummy 2017 film, which I'm sorry, I'm not getting into that movie. But of course, he'll be coming. Any voice character getting across the Spider Verse and Spider Man Beyond the Spider Verse. He'll be coming back as the character in that in 2027. Haley Steinfeld's Gwen Stacy, Spider Woman, or Spider Gwen, some people might call it. A dimension displays counterpart of Gwen Stacy with spider-like abilities, who takes up the alleys of Wanda while I'm out of school. Haley Steinfeld, my first introduction to her, honestly, was probably Pitch Perfect. You know, I'm not really into Pitch Perfect, but I think she was in that movie, the Pitch Perfect movies, where she was in her games. She was as a kill, or oh, she wasn't in Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect 2. Okay, my bad. I don't think she was in the first movie. I guess not. In the third movie, but my interest in her was Bumblebee. Yeah, and I liked her ever since. She had a cameo in the Marvels. I know she's in the TV show Hawkeye as well. Yeah. And Michelle Ossie as Aaron Davis, the Prowler. There are gonna be spoilers in here, by the way. Well, you should know if you've read the comics, Aaron Davis is the Prowler. He's Miles' uncle who moonlights as a master enforcer called the Prowler for Ghost Confess while keeping it a secret from his family. His abilities are technical genius, skilled hand-to-hand combat, use of hypnotic aids, hand-wielded weapons, battlesuit grants, wall crawling, gauntlets capable of shooting fresh air blast. Brian Tyree Henry as Jefferson Davis, Miles' African American father, his dad, police officer who disapproves of Spider-Man's vigilante activities. He looks familiar. This actor, I mean. Oh, Child's Play remake. Yeah, he played the Ted North. He was alright in that. And it says here he was in Joker as Coral. I think he was the guy that that Arthur grabs the folder from about his mother. That might be him. Yeah, because it was combat. I remember him in the Child's Play remake. He's good in that. Not better than of course the other actor, but yeah, I'm not gonna get into that right now. I know I'm sorry I'm forgetting. But we're not talking about the Child's Play franchise anyway. And Lily Tommy as May Parker, Peter's aunt, who's dead in Peter B. Parker's universe, provides refuge for other Spider people in Miles' universe. Oh, she was good. She did a good job. So she's been in a lot of things. Very good actress. I think was she on? Oh, let's see. Okay, well, Bruce. Oh, she was in The Kid. I remember her in that. I think she was in an episode of NCIS. She's done quite a bit of movies and TV shows. So, a very good actress in my opinion. Lula, yeah, and basically, and May Parker is older lady in this one, not the hot version of Aunt May and the Tom Holland ones by Marissa Tomei. Luna, Luna Lauren Viz as Rayo Miles' mother, freaking mother. City Hall, I think I do. She was in that, and she of course came back for the sequel, Cross the Spider Verse, and she'll be in the third movie, voicing Rio Miles' mother again, and Beyond the Spider Verse. Zoe Kravitz as Mary Jane and MJ Parker, Peter Parker's wife in Miles' universe. Oh, Zoe, okay, yeah. Let's see. Of course, you should know her as Selena Kyle Catwoman in the Batman. And I think she was also, let's see, yeah, she was an X-Men First Class too. John Mulaney as Peter Porker, Spider-Man, and her turn of talking animal version, kind of like, yeah, he was written by a radioactive pig. John Mulaney did a great job. uh, Spider-Ham, Quantum voice short film. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Spider-Man Cross the Spider voice, archive of audio, and Beyond the Spider-Verse. Kumiko Glenn as Penny Parker, Spider, a young Japanese American girl, more like anime. Well, Spider Pig, Spider Ham, whatever the hell you want to call him, is more like what's the word I'm looking for? Looney Tunes, and she's more like from anime. She was a character in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and of course we'll be coming back for the third movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse. Yeah, Spider Ham. Okay, I got it right. Nicolas Cage is Peter Parker, Spider-Man Noir. He's a alternative version of Peter Parker. And I've also got to mention though, Kimmy, her, she's a biological chemical suit with a radioactive spider that she shares a link with. That's her father. And this Nicolas Cage's brother, Peter Parker, his Spider-Man is Spider-Man Noir, like from 1940s or 1930s, black and white universe set in the 1930s. Kind of like he's a detective. But Nicolas Cage, of course, he's done other superhero movies before. Worked with Marvel. Well, he did work with Marvel. Remember Ghost Rider from 2007? And sadly, the crappy sequel in 2012, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Yeah, but Nicolas Cage has been in a lot of movies. I loved him in Con Air. He was good in that. The Rock. He was good in that. The Family Man. Yeah, Nicolas Cage has done quite a bit of movies ever since like the 80s. Catherine Hahn is Dr. Olivia Octavius, the head scientist CEO of Emily Bank, and advisor to Wilson. She was in Flushed. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Anchorman, Legend of Ron Burgundy. Already a Brother, The Dictator, Tomorrowland. And Spider-Man Cross Spider-Verse came back to voice for, well, Archivio Audio or something like that. Ew. Lee Sharp was Wisconsin Fist, Kingpin, a crime lord, benefactor of Alamax and Miles' dimension. His number motive was to abduct alternative versions of his late wife and son who died in a car crash, escaping from him. Lee Schreiber, of course, you should know him from the Scream movies. Well, he was in a movie called Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin, playing Cotton Rury, who was accused of killing Winnie Prescott's mother. He was in Scream 2 and Scream 3. Spoiler alert, Scream 3, he dies. Cotton dies in Scream 3. But if you want to talk about, he's worked with Marvel before. Victor Cree, Sabretooth, and X-Men Origins Wolverine. He was alright in that movie, but here, he's a lot better as Kingpin. And he's nobody's brother, thank God. So, he was in a much better Marvel movie. He was redeemed from X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. Lake Bell voices Vanessa Fisk, Kingpin's wife. Jim Martocco as Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Marvin Gordon Jones III as Tombstone. Kingpin silent and heavily armed bodyguard. Jacqueline Kozo as Scorpion. Oscar Isaac has a cameo as Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2029, which we went to fully see his character into the sequel, of course. Anyway. But that's your voice cast in the film. It's rated by 3 directors. Bob Straczynski, who of course will be directing Spider-Man Beyond the Verse, and he's also just an executive producer on the sequel Across the Spider-Verse, and a writer and a head story for Puss in Boots. He's worked on some DreamWorks animated films like Shrek 2, Share the Halls as a short film, Flushed Away, Monsters vs. Aliens. For Disney, he's worked a little bit with Disney too for Hercules, Mulan, Tarzan, Fantasia 2000, The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis Lost Emperor, and Treasure Planet. Peter Ramsey, The Mandalorian, worked on an episode of The Mandalorian. Storyboard artists on films like Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Warrior, Predator 2, Tank Girl from 1995, Mortal Kombat, Eye for an Eye. Was that with Chuck Norris? Oh no, I'm sorry, Sally Field and Ed Harris and Kiefer Sutherland. Sorry. Independence Day, Men in Black, Godzilla 1998, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Castaway with Tom Hanks, Shrek the Third, and other films like Bad Girl, The Shadow from 1994, Batman Forever. Produced films like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and will be also as a producer on the third film, Beyond the Spider-Verse. Ronnie Rothman worked on television, some television series as well. Films, Grudge Match, oh my gosh, I hated that movie with Robert De Niro and Stallone. Yeah, that film I thought sucked. I like 22 Jump Street. That was a sequel to 21 Jump Street with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. I really was surprised with those films. Because I wasn't big on Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, to be honest. I'm not big on them as actors. So when that movie came out, I'm like, oh, this movie's for myself. But no, it actually was enjoyable. And then Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. Executive producer on films like Freaking Sarah Marshall, Year One, Five Year Engagement, uh, the Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse sequels, that's Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse. The upcoming Beyond the Spider-Verse in 2027 has not been released yet. Screenplay by Phil Lord. 25 minutes in. Extreme movie, Hollywood Chance Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, the Lego movie, Lego Batman movie, Lego Ninja movie, Solo Star Wars story, Lego Movie 2, Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And he'll be working on be a writer for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Based on Marvel Comics, created by A.B. Edward, who's been working with these movies and has ruined them, some of them, since the first Blade, 1998, since Marvel got big with Blade. He's been working with Marvel. As Amy Purcell, Filmbuster, Spider-Man Homecoming, Venom 2018, yes. This movie, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Venom The Last Dance, and Venom Let There Be Carnage, and Beyond the Verse should be producing that. Christopher Miller. Him and Lord have worked on the same movies pretty much that I mentioned before, so yeah. Edited by Robert Fisher Jr., music by Daniel Pinkerton. I'm sorry. Emperor of the People, Blood, and Inferior, the Counselor, The Man from Uncle, Steve Jobs, Ocean's 8. This movie, Birds of Prey, yay. That's such a classic movie. Production companies are Columbia Pictures, Marvel Entertainment, Sony Pictures Animation, Palau Pictures, Air-Rated Productions, Lord Miller Productions. Distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. It was released December 14, 2018 here in the US. It's 117 minutes long, about 1 hour and 56 minutes long. Really didn't feel like it though. But if you want to clone some of the post-credit scenes and stuff, and you know. But the budget was $90 million, and the box office made $394 million worldwide, so it was a hit. Seems to me, well, still I don't think I made more money than Venom. You know, even though it's a lot better than that. Yeah. But anyway, let's get into the plot. So I will say there will be spoilers in this review. So if you've never seen Spider-Man, okay. Into the Spider-Verse. If you've never seen this movie, turn the review off right now. You don't want to spoil it. But this is an enjoyable film. I really enjoyed this movie. It surprised me back in 2018. I thought this film, because Venom sucked. I was disappointed with that when it came out, and I was like, and I saw things like, am I gonna be let down again? But I gave it a chance. I would do like first reaction videos on my other channel. Maybe I'll go back to doing that someday on this channel. The first reaction I would go see movies. I would like write down a list of movies I want to see in theaters, see them, then do a video about what I first thought about them. And one of those was that, so it was Aquaman. If you want to see my other thoughts on Aquaman, you go back on my other channel. Don't subscribe, but if you want to see go on first reaction playlist, and you'll see that there. But anyway, so what the story about this movie is, it does take place with other multi universes around other universes, parallel universes, and stuff. But it is mainly about Miles Morales, his origin of how he becomes Spider-Man. So this is his story. The film is basically about him. Just alternative version of Spider-Man helping him out. But anyway, what the movie is that Miles Morales here is bitten by a radioactive spider in the subway. Brooklyn teenager Miles Morales suddenly develops mysterious powers like climbing on walls, being able to run fast, be able to stick to things. Yeah. These powers they transform into the only one, only Spider-Man. When he meets Peter Parker, but from another version, another universe, he soon realizes that there are many others who share his special high flying talents. That includes Spider-Gwen here, and as you can see, all the characters: Spider-Man Noir, Penny Parker, and Spider-Ham there. Yeah. Miles must now use his newfound skills to battle the evil Kingpin, voiced by Lee Schreiber, Kingpin, a hulking madman. Even though Kingpin is fat and he's a huge man, he's a fat man, but that's not all fat. A lot of that's muscle too. he wants to. He's gonna. What he plans to do is open these portals to other universes. Portal difference of Spider-Man to our world, but Kingpin lost his family, so he's desperate to get his wife and son back by opening up the universe, and he can destroy the entire universe by doing this and kill a lot of people. So while Miles is learning to be the new Spider-Man, him, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Gwen Stacy, along with the other spiders, they must team up and defeat him. They must get back home to their universes as well, and Miles must take on the Madman Kingpin and take him down for good and truly become a Spider-Man. And that's the plot for you in a web shell and a web crawl. No, I'm kidding. Stupid pun. But anyway, so that's the plot synopsis I just gave you. Yeah. Maybe I'll read some quotes from the movie as well. Whoop. I'm sorry, it's thirsty. I cooked grass today, so got that done today. Anyway, the Spider-Man's the Spider-Verse. So with the film's opening, we get to see Peter Parker, which is a Miles version. Spider-Man, says I'm Peter Parker, Spider-Man. You know, a lot of villains, and they reference some movies like Spider-Man 3 when he's dancing. I even did this, but we don't talk about that. I like that. That was like a nice little middle finger to Spider-Man 3 because I hate that movie. This is a lot better than Spider-Man 3, by the way. And Venom, and the other Sony reverse Spidey villain movies. Sony Spider-Man universe franchise I'm talking about, with their villain movies. Yeah. In my opinion, these movies should have had a lot more movies than. Yeah, but anyway, I'm going off balance here. But anyway, we see him talking about being Spider-Man, and like I like the scene where he punches the car, like when Doc got through the car in Spider-Man 2, where he punches the car this time, or when he's saving the train, like he did in Spider-Man 2. There are some references to the other Spider-Man movies as well, live action ones, like I said, including Spider-Man 3. But then we meet Miles Morales, Puerto Rico African American teenager Miles shows a list up to his father. He goes to school. He's a very special kid. Miles is a smart kid. He's a good kid. This year, practical teenager, and has to go to a new school. You know, he's just listening to some cool rap music, and he has to rush to get out to school. And he's like, Miles, hi Miles, and he kind of trips up himself, so he takes him right. And his dad's like, he's like, come on, Dad, people are taking pictures. You're embarrassing me. He's like, Miles, is that you? And he's like, what? And he's like, some cops run around this boy. Yeah, they do, but not your dad. And he takes him to school, and then he says, "I love you, Miles. You have a good day. You do good here, son." And then Miles says, "Okay, Dad. I'll see you later." He's like on the horn, "Beep. You gotta say I love you, son. You gotta say I love you. Gotta say it. Gotta say it." He's like, "All right, Dad. I love you, bud." He's like, "Copy that." And then kids laugh at him. I thought that was hilarious. But he goes to school. He's late for class. He meets Gwen, what she calls herself Gwendol. She's from another universe. She does get a sense on him. And he takes a light in her. He jokes around. They talk a little bit. Yeah. And Miles almost gets in trouble with the teacher. She wants him to write an essay. He goes visit his uncle Aaron Davis, his uncle. Hmm. But his father sees Spider-Man. His father Jefferson sees Peter Parker. Well, he doesn't know that, but that Spider-Man as a menace. Takes him to this abandoned subway station to paint graffiti. He's really good at it. The spider gets in him though. He's painting graffiti. Sees the spider, and the spider bites him, which it's a radioactive spider, which gives him his abilities. And as it was, they just hang out. He's like, well, me and your dad, we used to do this a lot when we were younger, believe it or not. Oh, wow, really? And then he became a cop. I mean, don't get me wrong, your dad's a good guy. I love your dad because he's my brother, but he's just changed a lot. Spider-Man, I mean, not Spider-Man, Miles, who does get these somewhat abilities. Even saying hey to Gwen Stacy. I think this is before Spider-Man dies. Spoiler, yeah. Like I said, the spoilers in this review. Before that happens, first day he wakes up with his abilities. Well, first just saying hey to Gwen. His uncle teaches him to do this. Just say hi, like to get her attention. He does, but it doesn't work. He gets nervous. He accidentally grabs her hair, and since his hands are sticky, he's like sticking it. He's like, I'm sorry. Then he has to get cut off. He's like, nice hair, dude. Don't say it. He's like, ugh. And everybody at school's laughing at him. He's trying to run away, and his clothes get caught sticky up, and the Spidey, Spider-Man Christmas special sing along is going on. He's just dancing to it. But he gets out there, his clothes are coming off. He's like, he's like, man, I got these powers. Even jumps at it like 10 feet in the air from a car and was hitting them. People are like, yeah. But eventually he ends up in another abandoned substation, seeing Spider-Man take on Green Goblin, which is a giant version, trying to fight him and tell jokes, and it's a collider. He returns to the station. He discovers that this is a collider that's been built by Wilson Fisk. Like I said, it hopes it's supposed to act as a parallel universe. Spider-Man's trying to stop him by putting this chip in there that will destroy the collider and stop the Kingpin. Uh, Miles is kind of caught in the middle. Nearly gets killed, but Spider-Man saves him. And Spider-Man looks at him and sees that they both have spider sense. Because Miles goes back to the station to investigate the spider and sees it twitching. And then that's when he sees the fight. Spider-Man saves him. He's like, "Oh, you're just like me. Okay, stick around. I'll teach you some stuff. Just stay here." He's like, "Well, I don't think that's meant for me." He's like, "Sometimes we're not meant for it, but sometimes we are." So then he goes to take over to fight Green Goblin. Yeah. And the Prowler. He shoves Spider-Man into the clutter. It causes the explosion at Goblin and wound that kills Goblin though, but it wounds Spider-Man real bad. And Spider-Man is Peter's dying. He's been injured real bad, and he gives Miles this USB flash drive designed to disable the collider, warning him that the machine could destroy the city if reflected and kill a lot of people. And so he's like, "Promise me." He's like, "I promise." Then he has to go away real fast, and Wilson Fisk takes up his message like, "Oh, that's a little forward." Seeing his Peter Parker, but Wilson Fisk doesn't care. Apparently, when he was fighting Spider-Man before before this all happened, he was fighting Spider-Man like at the wall, choking him, and his mother, oh my god, his wife and son saw that. Like, Wilson, so it's like, Maria, that's not me. Maria, and they run away. Of course, it kind of reminds me of Daredevil a little bit, but anyway. Although we've seen Kingpin in the anime series, we've seen him in the Daredevil 2003 film, and the director's cut played by the late Mark Clark Duncan. And here he tries to run after his family. They get into a bad car wreck and die, and this is why he's doing this. But you see Spider-Man, he blames him for it. That you brought this upon yourself. You killed my family, and Kingpin, like, using his strength, crushes him. Miles makes a noise, and Kingpin says, like, sees him, like, kill that guy. So Prowler chases him down. He does get away from him. And after that, though, he runs back home, hugs his dad, hugs Jefferson. He's like, "Dad, can I stay here for the night?" And his mom's like, "Yes, you stay here for the night, Miles." And they watch TV, and the world is mourning, the city is mourning Spider-Man who died. People paying tributes to him. Miles, buys a Spider-Man costume and talks to Stanley. I think this is really sad because this, and I think in Avengers Endgame might have been his last cameos. I think this is 2018 was also the year that Stanley died, so Stanley's like, "Hey, I know that guy, the right suit, and he has that smile. No refund, no return, but the smile." That was nice to see Stanley have a cameo. One of his last cameos, sadly. But the war moves him, and Miles is like, "I'll be a great Spider-Man like you, I promise." It's like, I think they're just kind of using that word, but it's not you. But it's just some other guy in a mask. People are everybody's like wearing a Spider-Man mask, and Mary Jane is Watson, and Aunt May Parker, we're talking about Peter. People are paying tributes, even to Aunt May's house, putting flowers and flowers on his funeral because he did so much that he gave his life to the city as saving it and protecting it as Spider-Man. So a lot of people are going to miss him and honor him. And Miles tries to do this by wearing the new suit. It's not this suit, especially like this red suit right here. He wears but mask, but you can see the eyes, his eyes. He tries to run up to the 50, like 10-foot building or something, like 10 feet building or whatever, something like that. Tries to jump. He's like, no, can't jump. He runs back down and then tries to do it again. And he can't do it. He kills himself by trying to do it. Because remember, Spider-Man, he created the web shooters. Miles does not have that yet. Yeah, he tries out his new Spider-Man abilities, but it doesn't work. He damages the drive. Then he feels bad for it, and then he goes to Spider-Man's grave, but he's met by Peter Benjamin Parker, the another universe Spider-Man, who's older, about 30, 26 years, I think 33. He's a worn down version of himself. He of course got married, became Spider-Man, but him and MJ didn't have kids. It caused some situations. He stopped being Spider-Man. He just quit. Was so depressed and was eating pizza, eating a lot of food, became really very chubby. Spider-Man, he actually shocks him and knocks him out. It was following the death of Aunt May years ago. Well, they're called the Venom Blast. Miles, well, Peter, he doesn't really wake up. He said, "Who are you, kid?" He gets knocked out again, but then the cops are like, "Hey, you, freeze! Get away from that graveyard!" And they chase him. He accidentally uses his web shooter, and they're flying. Kid, they web loose. He shoots a web on a train station. On one of the windows, he goes on. Kids, he's a kid, you know, and they're flying through the city like crazy. That's hilarious. And after Peter wakes up, he gets him to wake up. He's like, "Kid, who are you? I'm from another universe." Tells him about himself. And he's like, "Look, I need that chip, that data, that flash drive to get myself home." Because Peter tells him, he tells this Peter about this Peter Parker dying. He tells him what Kingpin is up to, but Spider-Man just doesn't seem to care. Just wants to go home. But he does really agree to help train Miles in exchange for help. Because he's able to web the drive. He's like, "You broke it? Now we gotta go get another one." So what they do is they have to infiltrate Wilson's research facility. You know, Peter puts his suit on with sweatpants on. Miles tries to wear, with his suit, tries to wear a cape. I was like, Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape. That's insulting. He's always like, "What are we gonna do? Okay, we're gonna sneak around." Miles also discovers that he has the power to turn invisible. That does help. They are confronted by Olivia Octavius. He doesn't know that first. Peter tries to use his Peter charm on her. It doesn't work. She traps him, realizing that she is Doc Ock as well. As like, my friends call me Olivia, but my enemies call me Doc Ock. She attacks him. Peter will also die, though. He's pushing if he remains in the dimension. They get chased to the laboratory by her, by Doc Ock. Miles and Peters get saved by another grip. Well, for that, they have to web swing. And he can't web swing, so he's running in the woods. And Peter's like, "Cube, web." She's like, "All right, don't listen to me. Don't do what I say." Blah, 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 He's trying to climb a tree while Doc Ock is chasing him. But he's able to teach him the web swing eventually, but they're getting cornered, so Spider-Gwen saves them, fights off some of the bad guys. And it's Gwen under the mask, who's Spider-Woman. We hear her story that she got bitten by a spider, that she's in a band, that her friend Peter Parker died because he turned himself into like the lizard. And Peter Parker's version, it was Kirk Connors, but in her reality, her universe, it was Peter Parker himself who jumps through the list. They play more on that. They talk more about that and across the Spider Verse. So yeah, so you don't get to talk about the hair, and then they have to go see this version of Aunt May. They're just talking again. One was like, "I'm sorry about your hair," and they like flip each other, and Peter's like, "I can tell each other they like each other." But they go, and he's nervous to see Aunt May. Just happy to see her. Because his version of Aunt May died many years ago. He sees her again, and since her Peter died, they, give each other a hug. And you find out that May has like kind of like a spider cave, like a bat cave almost. She is also studying more Spider-Man people, like Spider-Man Noir, voice, can't see here, Spider-Man Noir, which is we don't see him, which is the dark one right there, the one in black and white, and Spider-Ham and Penny Parker. We tell their stories a little bit. One's being attacked Spider-Ham, who got bitten by a radioactive pig. It can't get any weirdo, you know. And Penny Parker, her father is like a machine. That's like a spider that she can go in him doing all this technology stuff. So she's like anime. This is like from Noir from 1930s, black and white. And Spider Ham is like a Looney Tune, like Porky the Pig. Because sometimes I say, that's all, folks. Hmm. They're also deteriorating. Miles says, you know what? I'm going to be the new Spider Man. I'm going to disable the collider so they can return her. But they do question test him, like, well, can you know, do this or that, be attacked by one bad guy? Hey, come on, Miles. Like, get on Miles. Like, can you put this, where you got a bad guy shooting at you? Can you handle this? Can you handle that? And Peter's like, guys, stop. You're being too tough. You know, but they stop. They tell him that, he lacks experience. And of course, it hurts him, but it is truth. He does not have experience. Well, guys, train him. Which, to be honest, though, in the film, they should have done because they're dying, they're twitching, and, if because these villains are in Miles' version, and his Spider-Man's he's got to learn to become Spider-Man to take these guys out. Because, yeah, in my opinion, though, if Miles didn't help to fight them at the end, which he does, but before we get to that, though, before he helps fight them off, the thing is, I think they would have died because it would have given Doc Ock and Tombstone the chance to kill him off. But this upsets Miles, and he's hurt by this. And Spider-Man's like, oh, he just talking about him. They're talking about that he can't help out, that he's just inexperienced. So he retreats to to his uncle's home, and then he sees the Prowler come in. He try, he's just sitting at his own Aaron's couch in his apartment. Sees the Prowler come in, is hiding, and he's disappearing. Of course, Prowler like sees him. They got good music with the Prowler, but then Prowler says, "No, I'm good," and Prowler takes the mask off. And spoiler alert: it's Aaron Davis, his uncle, is the Prowler. But eventually he gets away, so the Prowler puts his mask back on and chases him. Yeah. Miles eventually returned to May's house. Penny completed the new drive. He fixed it. He does return, but he gets followed by Prowler, Wilson, Doc Ock, Octavius Scorpion, and Tombstone. And they have a brawl. And Aunt May, I like it when she has a baseball bat. She knocks Scorpion's ass outside. I said, take it outside. And they fight. They fight with him. Yeah. And Spider-Man, while Miles is fighting with Prowler, knowing that it's his uncle, eventually Prowler's able to get up on him on the roof, on top of Aunt May's house. They're gonna kill him, choking him. And he's like, takes his mask off. He's like, Miles? Can't kill you. And Kingpin's like, what are you waiting for, Prowler? Kill him. Prowler won't do it. So, not only so Wilson Fisk, I guess, being really impatient and Prowler's not listening to his orders, probably knows that he's Aaron Davis, doesn't care. Still Prowler to him, doesn't listen. So Fisk just shoots him dead. Yes, and Aaron Davis dies. Arizona takes an alley. He's like, I'm sorry. Well, this is my fault. No, it's not my fault, kid. It's not your fault, Miles. I love you. And let your dad know I love him. And he sadly dies. His dad sees this. Ooh, Spider-Man. Doesn't know it's Miles. But eventually he finds the body. His father cries like, I want to give a warrant out arrest for Spider-Man, Miles. He also tells him to keep going. Miles is at his dorm room, and they say, we know how you feel. Yes, we do. And because Peter says, I lost my Uncle Ben, and just said, I lost my friend Peter. Or, Spider-Man lost his Uncle Benjamin. Yeah. Penny lost her father. I forget who Ham lost. Maybe a pork chop or something, but no, I'm just kidding. Well, they've all lost something. So sorry. And then they go away, and it says, good luck, Miles. And Peter says, you can't come. You're not ready. He's like, all right, well, knock me out. He's like, stretching, and Peter does this, like, kick on him. Picks him up, like, disappear, like, doesn't work, and he webs him up. Takes the US flash drive that Penny made, refix. We're gonna go take care of this. Even though I'm thinking, Peter, I know Miles is inexperienced, but if you guys start twitching, somehow, well, maybe they can't twitch though if they get into the machine, but if they start twitching, it'll give those villains a chance to kill you. So maybe you need Miles on your side. Jefferson does arrive at Miles' door, his father, and assuming Miles does not want to speak to him, but he's got Peter webbed his mouth. He doesn't say like, "I love you, son. I know you're upset with me, but you got this spark in you. You can do something. You can do good something with your life." Anyway, I love you. I'll see you later, and bye, son. Yeah. And he uses, and he's like tied up in the chair of spider web, but he uses like this. He's electricity that comes out of his hands, his body, his venom blast destroys those web shooters, destroys those webs, the web that he's caught in. Goes to see Aunt May, and she's like, "I knew you'd come back eventually." And she gives him spider slayer. I mean, uh, organic web shooters to fit his size, and he makes his suit, which is really cool. And that's when you saw in the trailer with him putting on his mask and jumping and web swinging, which is really cool. He creates his own Spider-Man suit with May's help. Then he joins the heroes. Well, eventually, before Miles shows up, they have to sneak into a to Wilson's party. Who Wilson Fisk, like he's showing something for Spider-Man. He goes for Spider-Man was my friend, and lets MJ speak at this. He got like this ceremony for Spider-Man, and all these people are just Spider-Man, but they work for him. And it's easy for the group to get in there and sneak on there. You know, they got Penny hiding under a table doing some computer stuff. You know, Spider-Ham, I don't know where he's at, but Peter sees him. She's like, Gwen's like, I'm sorry, Peter, I'm sorry, baby. She's not here. And then she just talked to her. Was like, Tim J's like, I'm sorry for what? It's okay for not bringing you bread. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. It's like, come on, go away. We'll get you more bread, which we're not going to do. Then they go to the collider to put the UPS flash drive in to destroy the collider. Eventually, Miles joins them and like Miles, and they're like really impressed. And he's kicking some ass and taking some names, and which is really cool. Yeah, and they defend them. They're ready to fight Doc Ock, but she gets hit by a truck. Eventually, Tombstone gets defeated instead of Scorpion. The only one left is Kingpin, who was about to get his family back. But Spider-Man's ruining this. Miles Spider-Man Morales, and the others say goodbye, kid, and they go to the university. Says goodbye to Gwen, Spider-Ham, Penny. Spider-Man never go back to all their universes. And Peter's like, no, I'll deal with it. And Miles knocks him down. Does that knock on him? He's like, dude, go home. I got this. I was like, okay. He's like, you'll figure it out. And he drops him back home and takes him on his own. At first, he does have a hard time fighting him a little bit. It's like, come on, Kingpin, because Kingpin is a huge guy in this movie. Like, Kingpin has always been a fat, overweight character, but remember, that's not just weight, that's a lot of muscle, too. If you know the character of Kingpin, you know he can handle himself in a fight, physical fight, you know. He's just as fast as nearly Spider-Man is. Spider-Man, so can Kingpin be. Kingpin might not be able to fly, but he can nearly grab Spider-Man, hug him, throw a good punch at him. He throws good punches in there. It's even hard for Spider-Man to sometimes steer away from him. Because Kingpin's such a big guy. That's tough. Yeah, they fight, and he's like, not so well on your own. Then he seen the vision of his family. Then he knows that Spider-Man. He Miles Spider-Man punches him a couple times. He's like, "You're gonna lose, kid, and I'm gonna win." You know, he's comes close to killing him, but he's encouraged by his father and gives him a beating. And he's able to use his sharp abilities to get Kingpin. He said it was wisdom, and with his Venom Blast, he throws him at the kill switch. It destroys the collider, and he saves and Miles saves his Spider-Man. I'm sorry, not Miles. Spider-Man, our new Spider-Man, saves the universe. Wilson and his men get arrested. You know, he ties up Wilson on top of the 10 feet from a building from a building, or 5 feet about. Some your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, him going to jail for his crimes, and you know him. He doesn't know his son is Spider-Man. Jefferson doesn't, but he goes up to hug him. He's like, I'm sorry, you great job, officer. Safety shows to come up with detour voice. Like, oh, and by the way, I love you. I thought that was funny. He says, I love you, and then he runs away, says goodbye, you know, and then she's like, yeah, like, thanks, Spider-Man. Yeah, what's up, old guys? You know, the new Spider-Man. He's like, it's my story. He embraces with great power that comes with great responsibility of his new life. Those heroes return to life with their own dimensions. Peter Parker is preparing himself to make his relationship with Mary Jane. Watson, yeah, Gwen goes back to her life as Spider-Man. Things go well for her. Spider-Man Ham and Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Norman Penny, I think, refixes their father. And he tells his story of telling, I guess, a friend called Yankee, knowing about it that he's Spider-Man. He's able to do his homework and balance his life as Spidey, saving people, and truly becomes the new with great power. Miles learns that with great power comes great responsibility. He becomes the new Spider-Man. The movie ends there, and then you have another mission, Miguel O'Hara, created by Gizmo, and uses to travel to Earth 67 to recruit a Spider-Man, but instead he ends up arguing with the latter from the 60s Spider-Man, which is funny. And Joe Jameson says, "Shoot that Spider! No, shoot that Spider! You know what I want to shoot." And the movie ends there. But Miguel O'Hara, you could say that this is the setup for Across the Spider Verse, which would be the next movie, but you wouldn't get that till 2023, so it'd be a little while. It did feel like it took forever for them to make a sequel. I didn't see the sequel theaters sure, but I definitely really want to see it beyond the Spider Verse in the movie theater. But I would have to wait till 2027. But I got plenty of time to wait. Well, and that's the end of the movie. I'll read some quotes from the film, and I'll be done. Just some quick quotes. Give you my final thoughts. This is also a 3D computer animated superhero film, but I saw this film in 2D, which was nice. Peter Parker, let's do this one last time. My name is Peter Parker. I was been by Radio Spider for 10 years. I've been the one and only Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure you know the rest. Ben Parker, great power. We've heard that. Don't finish that sentence. I saved a bunch of people, fell in love, saved the city, and then saved the city again and again. The infamous stand for Spider-Man 3. We don't really talk about this. Look, I'm a comic book. I'm a serial, did a Christmas album. It's like Spider-Man knows he's a comic book character. The Christmas album, I mean, I've looked worse. Everything, I still love being Peter Spider-Man. I mean, he wouldn't. No matter how many hits, I always find a way to come back. Because the only thing that stands between me this is Oblivion is me. There's only one Spider-Man, and you're looking at him. I know what you're trying to do, and it won't work. They're gone. I think you're going to be a bad teacher. You can teach me to be Spider-Man. How many more Spider people are out there? Okay, let's do this last time. Yeah, for the real this time. This is it. My name is Miles Morales. I've been by regular at the Spider. Well, yeah, for like 2 days, I've been the one and only Spider-Man. I think you know the rest. I finished my essay, saved a bunch of people, got hit by a drone, like Peter did. I did this with my dad, remember my uncle. Met my roommate finally, stopped the sticker with my dad, so I'm gonna find it. And when I fell along, like no one understands what I'm going through. I remember my friends would get it. I never thought I'd be able to do any stuff, but I can. Anyone can wear the mask. You can wear the mask. If you didn't know that before, I would do because I'm Spider-Man, and I'm not the only one. Not by a long shot. Shot. Gwen Stacy. All right, people. Let's start at the beginning. My name is Gwen Stacy. I was written by radio actor Spider, and for the last 2 years, I've been the one and only Spider Woman. You guys know the rest. I joined a band, saved my dad. I couldn't save my best friend Peter Parker, so now I have everyone else. And I don't do any more friends. Just avoid any distractions. And one day, the weird thing happened. And I mean, like, weird. So it seems like she was fighting Doc Ock, by the way. I was born into last week in her universe. Literally, I landed in New York. Not in my New York. My Spider just told me to head to Visions Academy to Miles. He didn't know how his job was, but afraid the only one who could stop this guy was Spider-Man. Oh, is this your dad? Please open the door. Miles, I can see your shadow moving around there. Yeah, okay, I get it, I get it. You're still working on me. Look, can we talk for a minute? Something happened to me. Something. Look, sometimes people drift apart, Miles. I don't want that to happen to us, okay? Talking about him and his uncle, how him and Aaron were brothers, but their relationship drifted apart. And he just, I guess you say, regrets that now. I don't want that to happen to us. I know I don't always do what you need me to do or say what you need me to say. I see the spark in you. It's amazing. It's why I push you. But it's yours. Whatever you choose to do with it, you'll be great again. Look, call me when you can, okay? I love you. Don't have to say it back though. My friends actually call me Liv. My enemies call me Doc Ock. This was never your city. It's mine. It's always about the money, Spider-Man. The real Spider-Man couldn't beat me. You're nothing. You're not stopping this. Not today. You took my family, and now I'm gonna make sure you never see yours again. You're the best of all of us, Miles. You're on your way. Just keep on going. Alright. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. So anyway, give my final opinion, guys, on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you okay. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I love this movie. This was really good. This was definitely an original film, if you ask me. It felt original. It was a unique film, in my opinion. Unique. It was amazing. Use the term and the pun of saying that, but it was amazing. It was really good. I enjoyed the story. I like that there's probably a lot of other Spider-Man in the comics. Like they finally we got that. We got an animated Spider-Man film, which honestly we needed after Venom. We needed a movie like this. This movie, I don't know why those Sony Spider-Man universe got movies like Venom and Morpheus and Kraven the Hunter Man Web, and they all flopped at the box office. Yeah, this may not have been as big as a hit as Venom, but it's better than Venom because why? It has a better story. Yeah, it's PG, which is fine. I can tell this was for kids. Venom felt like a movie hand watered down for kids. They can tone down this for kids. But hey, Peter Parker dies. Yes, Spider Man. In Miles' version, he dies. The Peter Parker we know as Spider Man, not Peter B. Parker, who was this Spider Man, dies. I'm like, so that's pretty dark, for him to die. And Kingpin getting his family killed, that's pretty dark. And I can understand his reasoning for one thing, but he can destroy half the universe, but destroy most of the universe and kill a lot of people doing it. But Kingpin's a villain, doesn't care. And I like that he's not just, but you feel sympathy for him that he lost his family. But Kingpin did it himself because he was a criminal and, yeah, chose to be that way and he lost his son and his wife because of it. And it wasn't Spider Man's fault, it was his own. But the film does have a good story. I like how we see new Spider Man. I like when Stacy, Spider Woman, I like that she's voiced by Haley Steinfeld. I love Haley Steinfeld. Very beautiful actress. A very good actress, too. Uh, Spider Ham was funny. Or they got like an all new mini Spider Ham caught in the web movie at the end. Yeah, you see me like eating a hot dog, but he was a funny character like Looney Tunes. Spider Man over the Nicolas Cage was good. Um, Shamika Moore as Miles Morales, he did a good job. I like that the story did. It was about Miles. It is his movie. Yeah, it takes us a while seeing Spider Man to see him as Spider Man, but again, I'm invested in the story, and it did feel again 1 hour 56 minutes long. It felt like almost an hour and 30 something minutes to me, literally. Well, 40 minutes maybe, but it didn't even feel like that to be honest. But if you include the credits and the post credit scene, yeah, then but still, the sequel, you know, in the sequel, you do get a lot more Spider-Man again. They show you a lot more. The sequel, they made it a little better, in my opinion. Yeah, it's longer, but I like that. And you get to see Miles in the suit more as well, and a little more action too, which is nice. You know, yeah. But the voice cast was good. The three directors: Bob Persiche, Peter Ramsey, Ronnie Rothman. Because this was a 2D animation film, there was a lot of things they had to work on, so that's why I guess they had to have three directors. The script, it was good. I think the story was really good, well written. The editing, it was good. The music score was good too. But the editing, like some of the songs they add in here, some of the rap songs they add in here, the music score is good too. The editing, the action scenes are very well shot. The animation is very beautiful in here. I love the animation. The 2D animation, 3D animation is really good in here. 117 minutes long, 156 minutes. I didn't feel like it. It felt like the pacing was like that. It tells you a good origin story, and I like Miles. You know, I've been a teenager too. I know how it's hard to do, working hard, deal with school and all that stuff. That's hard. So, being young, I can still relate to Spider-Man. You know, that life is hard sometimes, and we all go through hard things and hard stuff in life sometimes. I get that. But great power comes great responsibility. That's the whole thing with Spider-Man, and even Miles Spider-Man too, as he learns. But the film has a good running time. It has a really good story. Yeah, 2028 it'll be 10 years old, I think. So yeah, we got a while to get there, but it's a really an amazing movie in my opinion. Any problems with it? Can't really think of it. I didn't really care about the female version of Dog Ock too much. I had to find out interesting. I didn't care about the Scorpion. He's talking Spanish, which I'm sorry, I wasn't a fan of the look of Scorpion. I didn't even care for the look of Tombstone, to be honest. They were just kind of thrown in here for fan service a little bit, in my opinion. I don't think you needed them, but I guess you needed villains. Green Goblin was a little too big for me. I'm like, really? Looks more like the Lizard, but not Goblin. But they were okay. Some of the villains thought were weak. That they were weak villains, though. Yeah, and I do question the whole thing that them trying to not, instead, they should have worked on training him to become Spider-Man a little more. Because them trying to go fight them on their own, I know they can because they have more experience than Miles. But the thing is, they're twitching throughout the movie, and if you twitch enough, they can give the villains an opportunity to probably kill you. So yeah, so they definitely need Miles. Even though he's inexperienced, you got to train him a little more. But despite that, though, he does learn to become a good. And but it's not much of a problem for me though. I just question it a little bit. But despite questioning it, it does encourage him. Thanks to his dad, that encourages him. Like in a way, telling him with great power comes great responsibility. And Miles learns that and becomes Spider-Man. Learns it, and when he does, the suit's awesome. The suits were good. The suits also a lot cooler, I think. Miles grows a little taller in the second movie, and we get to see him as Spider-Man a little more. And you know, yeah, which is cool. You know, yeah. But this movie does is an origin story as well, and we do get the other Spider-Mans and the other multiverse, if you want to call it, other parallel universes and all that stuff, multiverse. Yeah, and that was cool. I like that they went there with it. You know, it was a fresh take on Spider-Man. It's something we need, especially after the shitty movie Venom. Now I don't understand. These films deserve, I think, a lot more movies than I don't get because the Spider-Man movies, the villain movies, like the Venom movies, I think those Venom movies suck. Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, I know those are gonna suck. Morbius sucked. I hated Morbius. Morbius, more like more wimpy. I can't even more wimpy. What the hell? I mean, since yeah, I call it Mopius. Mopius really sucked. Yeah, but at least they knew what this movie was and knows the tone. It gets it right. You know, they tell you a good story. That's what I wanted from Venom. But Venom was different because Venom is a movie about an anti-hero, and you got to do your comic book characters right. And they do this. They do this movie the right way, and adults can enjoy it too. It's for adults and kids. But when you do like a Venom movie, you got to make it rated R. That's the difference. But at least this movie knows what it is. You have people who work on this movie who know what they're doing. They're not letting Sony get involved. Thank God. They didn't need to. These people, it feels like Avi Edward might be there as producer, but he's not dipping his finger into anything. Thank God. And the directors and the writers of this movie know, and the crew and the voice cast know what they're doing. They gave us a good movie. They worked their butt off. It seems like it took a lot of hard work to make this and the sequels. So I hope they do better with Beyond the Spider Verse because I definitely want to see that. So my rating for Spider-Man: The Spider Verse is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. My rating for the film is 4 to 5 stars. I still say Spider-Man 2 is the best, but I put this up as, let's see. No, Spider-Man 2 was the best. Sorry. I would say maybe I'm thinking either third best for now. Because second best to me is probably Spider-Man Cross Spider-Verse, but I'll get into why when we get into the 2020 super reviews. All right, guys. So tell me in the comments down below. Again, my rating for Spider-Man the Spider-Verse is 4 to 5 stars and thumbs up. Please tell me in the comments down below, guys. What do you think of this film in your opinion? Do you like Spider-Man the Spider-Verse? Do you hate it? Have you seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? If you have, what do you think of that? What is the best Spider-Man movie in your opinion? Mine is Spider-Man 2, but the best Spider-Man actor to me, I would also say The Amazing Spider-Man is one of the best. Yeah, people weren't screaming that. I don't care. And even this first Spider-Man is one of the best. So, but the absolute best one to me is Spider-Man 2 from 2004. Yeah. So sorry, Tom Holland, I disagree with you. Yeah. But this is just as good as Spider-Man 2 in my opinion. But that Doc Ock is better, just in my opinion. But despite that, though, I did enjoy this movie. I love it. So tell me in the comments down below. How would you rank, well, the Spider-Man films? Including with these, I'm talking about Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, Mark Webb's, uh, Tom Holland. I think he had 3 different directors. But how would you rank this Spider-Man films, including the sequel to this movie, and with Tobey Maguire movies, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland? How would you rank all these movies in your opinion? Yeah, tell me in the comments down below. And what is your favorite Spider-Man movie? Mine is Spider-Man 2. But my favorite Spider-Man, I'd probably say Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know people disagree with it, but the problem though, it's my favorite because it is very enjoyable, mainly because of Andrew Garfield. But I would say Spider-Man 2, the original version, is the best story-wise. But anyway, guys, so we got one more 2018 review. Yeah. And this is a DCU film. Sorry, so let me do this really quick. That is directed by, is it James Wan? Yeah, it is the sixth film in the DC Extended Universe (DCU) that stars it also stars Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Patrick Wilson, Dolph Lundgren, and Nicole Kidman. And Nicole Kidman, yes, the Nicole Kidman from Batman Forever. Funny, all right, and that is the sixth DCU film, Aquaman. So Aquaman is next, the first Aquaman movie. The sequel didn't come out in 2020s till 2023, so it'll be a while before I get to that. But I'm going to be reviewing this film since it came first, Aquaman, the first movie. So the sixth DCU film. All right, guys. Oh, and when we get in 2019, I've already reviewed Rating the Superman, so I'll be sharing that review after I review Aquaman. May not be tonight, maybe tomorrow. But anyway, starting with the 2019 films, I know people don't like this woman, but I do. I adore this woman. I like her, sue me. That is the MCU movie. When we start with 2019, it'll be Captain Marvel. Yes, Captain Marvel. When we get to the year 2019, the first one, 2019 will be the last year for these 2010 Zero Super Reviews. 2019 will be the last year, and we'll be starting with Captain Marvel. 21st, I believe the 21st MCU movie. Well, Captain Marvel will be the first review for 2019 after Aquaman. So those are the next 2 reviews coming up. So tell me in the comments down below again. My rating once again for Spider-Man Spider-Verse is 4 to 5 stars. 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. Tell me what you think about this, guys, in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'm gonna swing my way out of this review. I can't do that, no. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.